Okay, we just finished bringing in both the red and the green part into our assembly. And now we're going to add the purple piece. So I've brought that piece in. And as I look at this view, I can rotate around using my view cube to try to understand the purple piece and how it's situated. So I can see that the purple piece is this U shape with this extra cube pointing out, and that cube is going to be pointing down, and this U is going to be basically horizontal. And so what I want to do is, after having brought in my purple piece, I want to try to rotate it around. With it selected, I can hit free rotate. I can rotate just the purple piece, and I can rearrange it. And you don't have to be precise or that perfect, but you want it to be approximately in the correct location and orientation of where it's going to go. So this is going to back up here, and it's going to mate to that side. This cube that's pointing down will go next to the green. Okay, so now that we have it inserted, we're going to use our constrain tool. First, I will use the opposing mate constraint to get this face, and I'm going to rotate around to mate with this face. Hit apply. Next, I'd like these top surfaces to be flush. If I look at the solved puzzle cube, I can see that they are flush. So next I will use the flush mate for the tops. Hit apply. Next, on the end here, these two surfaces should be flush. So I'll use the flush mate again, choose that face, and hit apply. After those three constraints have been applied, my purple piece can no longer be moved. It's been constrained in all three directions, the X, the Y, and the Z. So I'm ready to bring in another piece. Let's look at the solved puzzle cube. Next, I see I have the blue piece that fits within the purple. I also have my orange piece underneath. I think we'll bring in the blue piece next. So place, locate my blue file, hit open. I'm going to left click and right click and say OK. Again, let's rotate around our view cube, and let's try to get the blue piece in the approximate orientation. I'm going to choose G on my keyboard, or free rotate up here, and that will allow just this blue piece to rotate. I'm going to rotate this around and get it approximately in the orientation that it should fit. That's close enough. Okay, now let's think about what kind of mates we need to use. You're using the two mates, oppose or a flush, and in many cases you can probably use either or. It just depends on what surfaces you're looking at. This piece right here is going to be the top of on the top surface, so I can have that be flush with these surfaces. So let's go ahead and use our flush mate again. Constrain our flush mate, this surface, and the top of my purple. Hit apply. I'm going to go ahead and close that right now and zoom out. It does appear that I can move it all around, but if I do look at it from the side, you notice I can't move it up in the Y direction using my axis down here. So along the Y axis, it's been constrained to where that top has to be flush with the purple. So I can only move it left and right, or forward and back. Okay, so now this should inset right here between the purple. And so to do that, how about we have the inside here of the purple, this be an opposing mate with the inside here of the blue. So let's use constrain our opposing mates. It'll be this surface. And now I'm going to rotate around using my view cube so I can see the other side of the blue and choose that surface. Okay, hit apply. And I'll close that box. Rotate around. So now you can see that I've constrained it in two directions, but it can still move to side. So to do this, I could use a flush mate on one of the outsides, this side being flush to the outside of the purple, or I could perhaps use an opposing mate here on the inside, getting these two faces to snap together. I'll go ahead and use the opposed mate again. So constrain, opposed mate, this inside piece. I'll rotate around in the inside of my blue. Hit apply, and we're done. I've got one last piece to bring in, and that's my orange piece. Choose orange, hit open, left click to place, right click and say OK. And now let's get the orientation. I'm going to rotate my puzzle so I can see the underside. And we can see where it's going to fit in. This needs to rotate 90 degrees. I'm going to choose G. Let's rotate this around. Take me a little bit of work here to kind of get it the way I want it. Close enough. Okay, it's going to kind of snap in here. Again, this does not have to be perfect when you're just orientating it. We just want to get it close so that we can begin to use our mates. All right. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do a opposed mate with the top side of the orange and the underside here of the blue. With the orange selected, I can press G and I can get that one to rotate so that I can see this face and that face at the same time, the two that I'm going to constrain together. I'm going to choose constrain, opposed mate. Let's get this face and the underside of the blue. Hit apply. Again, I can choose the orange, hit G to free rotate, and it will ignore that right now and let me move it around. Let's use an opposed mate again and get this surface and the inside of the blue there. And lastly, I'll finish it off by doing a flush mate, this surface to be flush with the blue. Hit apply and close. And there's our soft puzzle cube. To test that it's completely constrained, go through and grab each part one at a time. So green, red, purple, blue, and orange. And make sure that you can't drag, click, hold, and drag and move any of the parts around to ensure that you have correctly used your constraints to lock your solution in place. And if so, you're ready to save again the file to make sure you have it completely saved and you're good.